As around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's a cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you always.
I'd like to welcome you back to the Doni Glover Show. The next guest, this lady I had for summer school back between the 10th and the 11th grade. That was at Poly. Ended up going to Dunbar. She now has a book out called Successfully Promotions. Incredible book. But you'll never believe this. She used to wear the meanest pencil skirts. She had all the fellas going crazy. Wasn't that you?
Yeah.
Science teacher, physics, trig, math, all of that, mathematics.
All the medicine.
So, how you been?
I've been fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Why'd you write this book?
Well, first of all, I'm going to go back over the title. I'm going to go back over the title, Successfully Promotions. And that speaks for itself when people see that. I wrote the book because it was too much. It was just too many things happening in the workforces, not just in education, but
especially in education. Baltimore City Public Schools.
I can't say especially.
Okay, but that's what we're talking about in this book. There's a story in here about a man who got harassed by his female boss at Baltimore City Public Schools. That's what you said.
Of course. Men get sexually harassed.
That's nasty.
Just like women. Men are forced to do things.
I never know.
Donnie, men are forced to do things with other men against their will in order to keep the job,
with men,
in order to get a promotion, of course. And this is not just the Me Too movement. This has been going on forever. This is absolutely nothing new.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
1994.
What have you been up to? You've been an entrepreneur. You've had a club. I didn't know she used to have the former Melba's. Before it was Melba's.
It was a Class C. It was a Class C.
What?
The Class C nightclub.
Who knew that? Around the corner from 32nd Street.
The adults.
This is Baltimore history. And look, I heard you sold like 600 copies of this book a couple weeks ago out at Caton Castle.
It's on, actually, it's made.
Yes or no?
Yes, but it made.
A bully. I know this lady.
It made the top.
If you don't take charge, she'll be running the whole daggone show.
It made the top 20 bookshelf back in September. It's in 7 different foreign countries now.
And let me tell you something else about it. All of her students love her. Not just back when she used to wear the pencil skirts, but they love her still today. She went to the reunion, the Dunbar reunion, and they came from all over the country just to see this lady. So look, we're going to take a pause for the cars and come back and talk with our other guests. But this is the Doni Glover Show. Stay tuned.
For the best discounts on quality furniture, appliances, building materials, and more, shop Habitat for Humanity at the Chesapeake's Restore. From the living room to the bedroom, the family room to the kitchen, our 6 Restore locations have a wide variety of household items priced at a fraction of the retail value. When you shop Restore, 100% of our proceeds support Habitat for Humanity's home ownership programs throughout Central Maryland. Call today for free pickup of your unwanted items or visit ChesapeakeRestore.org.
I'd like to welcome you back to the Doni Glover Show. This is the good news segment. So on Be More News, back on January the 3rd, there was a story that came out about Governor Larry Hogan. And I was there, and let me tell you, it was the most beautiful thing I have seen in the neighborhood in which I grew up in, or at least most of my childhood. It was the most beautiful thing I've seen in quite some time. Now, for those who don't know, Governor Robert Ehrlich, back around 2005, put about, about 45 million, 46 million in the Coppins new Health and Human Services building. Well, back on January 3rd, Governor Larry Hogan, Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford made a huge announcement right next door to that and it's a construction site for the Walbrook Lumber Mill. And they made the announcement for the expansion of the Maryland Opportunity Zone, and part of the announcement was that the Lieutenant Governor will be running this Maryland Opportunity Zone Task Force. All that to say, another $56.5 million is coming, not just to that part of the world, but to the entire state of Maryland where there are these opportunity zones. But what's special to me is that I grew up about 4 blocks south of Coppin State, and it's about 10 blocks from where I first met Governor Larry Hogan, up in Walbrook Junction, around Rosedale Street, Poplar Grove. And we took a tour of North Avenue. And I think the good story part of it, for me, is knowing that finally we get someone who's not just in a high position, but's willing to come down to make a difference in terms of these vacant houses and a lot of the poverty and demise that we see in places like East and West Baltimore. And much love to East Baltimore. My earliest memories were over there. I left when I was about 9, but to get back to West Baltimore, it was a beautiful thing. So keep watching the Doni Glover Show, and we'll be back in a minute. I'd like to welcome you back to the Doni Glover Show. We have our guests for today, including Dr. Estella Ingram-Levy, and also, now, Estella Ingram-Levy, by the way, is former Maryland Teacher of the Year, entrepreneur, all of those things. But also now we have joining us Mike Posco, who is the CEO of Chesapeake Habitat. And let me tell you, he is one heck of a guy. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Good, good. So tell us about Chesapeake Habitat.
Yeah, so Chesapeake Habitat is a nonprofit that builds decent, affordable housing, and we focus on individuals between 30 and 80% of the area median income. So if there's one message that the audience I want them to get is that if you're paying more than $800 in rent, you should go to our website at habitatchesapeake.org, and we can put you into a house that you would own for much less than that. Because they get a zero-interest mortgage, and it's a 30-year zero-interest mortgage, and that's what makes it affordable for them.
How did you get to Chesapeake Habitat?
So I've been in the for-profit world most of my life. Several years ago, I traveled to Tanzania.
Climbed Mount Kilimanjaro?
I did, yeah.
You know, I've been to Tanzania.
Yeah.
We went to Ngorongoro crater.
It's amazing.
And the lions. All I can remember was the whole place smelled like lion crap.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
But that was my first experience with third world poverty. From that, I came back and got involved with the Sister State Committee for Liberia, and I took a group of engineers to Liberia to do an infrastructure study right after the Civil War there. And then that just piqued my interest more in the nonprofit world. And it was just very serendipitous how the job came open for the Habitat CEO at the same time I was kind of looking to get into the nonprofit world.
Okay.
So that's how I got there.
Now, Dr. Levy, you care about Baltimore City, and we really like this to be a solution-oriented show. So, you know, housing with the vacants, people having, there not being a lot of affordable housing. And I think of you, I think of Baltimore City Public Schools. I think of some of the challenges. The state just gave Baltimore City Public Schools, they said that 46% of the schools are at a 2 out of 5 star rating. And we also know that 13 high schools, reportedly in 2018, there were no students, 0 students proficient in math. And then we talk about the crime and the murder, and what are the solutions? I mean, how do we fix this? What's wrong? Is it going to keep happening? Is this insanity? Is it just insidious? What are we doing wrong?
A lot of things but it's so minor. what people think so wrong, they're really so minor. And you have one bad apple in a barrel, and it will spoil the whole barrel. So if you take that one bad apple out of that class, the teacher will get a chance to actually teach instead of discipline. And now they can't send kids to the office. Principals are afraid to send them home, and they're afraid of the school board, they're afraid of superintendents, and so the kid's not afraid of anybody. So they're doing what they want to do.
Did you see that little girl pop that teacher?
And like I
That
said,
would have never happened in your day.
oh no.
Let me tell you, Miss Ingram come down the hall with that pencil skirt on, but she give you the look of like, what? What's happening? How do we fix this, Mike? How do we? Is it hopelessness?
No.
Well, I don't think it's hopeless. I think there is a number of things. So obviously the crime, the housing piece. We started at Habitat a workforce development program. So we take individuals that haven't had any kind of training in the construction industry, and we take them for 10 months. They get $11 an hour. They get a stipend at the end of that of $5,700 that can go towards an apprenticeship program. So after that 10 months, then they're matched up with a construction job. So I think it's jobs, I think it's education, I think it's housing, it's crime. You know, all those things all have to be dealt with at the same time.
How do you recruit your students?
So our students...
There she go with the takeover. How do you recruit the students?
Yeah, so our students, we're in partnership with a number of different organizations. One is Jumpstart. Jumpstart has a 3-month program where they give soft skills training. So we will get some of the students out of soft skills training, and then they'll go with us for 10 months. A lot of the participants in our program are ex-offenders, and so for them to finally have an opportunity to get a skills, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, framing, electrical, this is a great opportunity for them to get out and get into those kinds of jobs.
Do they have GEDs when they come to you?
No, some of them don't. Yeah, but that $5,700 stipend can then be used towards any kind of education. So they can go back and get their GED. They can use it at a community college, or they can use it for an apprenticeship program.
Okay, so we're going to take a pause. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little more about some of the things that you've been through, some of the things that you've been through in the schools. You're watching the Doni Glover Show. Stay tuned.
For the best discounts on quality furniture, appliances, building materials, and more, shop Habitat for Humanity at the Chesapeake's Restore. From the living room to the bedroom, the family room to the kitchen, our 6 Restore locations have a wide variety of household items priced at a fraction of the retail value. When you shop Restore, 100% of our proceeds support Habitat for Humanity's home ownership programs throughout Central Maryland. Call today for free pickup of your unwanted items or visit ChesapeakeRestore.org.
I'd like to welcome you back to the Doni Glover Show. Mike Posco, a lot of people may not realize this, but I think you have a heart of gold, and you had a story of forgiveness. What happened?
Yeah, so my sister-in-law lived in Baltimore City, and my wife and I had just moved into the city. This is about 4 years ago, and she was brutally murdered, stabbed over a dozen times in her house.
Young black kid did it.
2 young men, black men. One was 14 and one was 15. That's a tough thing to deal with. And
But Mike, you're a rugby player. You've played ball to the point that your eyelid was hanging down his face. But even that, you know, to have something happen to your family, you know, a lot of people would have reacted violently or wanted to hate. You know what we see on television. You know, we want them convicted and gone and hanged and executed. But you didn't come out like that.
Well, it did not. I will say there were times when I would have just liked to have myself and them in a room together. At some point after 2 years of going through the trial, and you realize it's using that energy for that kind of thought process isn't going to be any good. It was apparent to me that is part of the the problems that with the system and our children. Like, how does a 14-year-old or 15-year-old even have, how do you wrap your arms around that?
And then you met the grandmother or the parents?
So my wife had to give an impact statement, and I think we both agreed that the only way you're going to get through that is to forgive them and try to make a difference.
It's the hardest thing in the world.
It's very difficult.
It's hard. And I commend you for that.
Yeah.
And you're now helping other people, not just, including young black kids who have been incarcerated and transitioning back. And you really want people to get into, one thing we didn't cover is that buying a home is probably cheaper than renting.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you're paying about 50% of your income towards housing, which a lot of people do, and you're paying over $800 a month, you should look into habitatchesapeake.org, because we could probably put you in a house for much less than that. Then you will own it. You will build equity within that house. People tend to take care of the house. There are studies that show that children that grow up under home ownership will have a 30% greater chance of graduating high school. Teenage pregnancy rate goes down. The overall health of the child gets better because you've given them a foundation that they're not moving from, that they're not
from place to place to place.
Place to place, or a landlord that's not taking care of their property. And that's key, because once they feel that home ownership, and you've been to some of our houses and our dedications.
You took me through the different sites we covered. Sandtown, we went down to Cherry Hill, we went all over.
Yeah, we have a gentleman that's going to be getting his own house. He's been going through our program for 2 years. And
we didn't mention the key term, sweat equity hours.
Absolutely. So they have to give back 250 hours of sweat equity. 50 of those hours are financial training that we provide. And then the other hours are them volunteering on site or in our retail businesses. But a gentleman that's going to be getting his own house in April was once homeless for about 3 or 4 years.
Incredible.
And now he's getting his own house. So.
Linda Marie Weaver.
Yes.
Not only are you an educator from back in the day, people still calling you. What is Linda Marie Weaver, our Dunbar poet sister, doing with you?
Well, she'll be getting her doctorate in May.
We're proud of you, Linda.
And is that Linda Marie?
No.
So she'll be getting her doctorate in May. I'm her advisor, and in the beginning she had a lot of fear, like all doctoral students would have a lot of fear. But the only thing she needed was a little confidence in herself and a self-esteem and somebody she could really depend on. So she chose me.
But why she choose you?
Because she knew that I was going to push her. She knew I was going to push her. She knew I was going to allow her to be afraid. She knew that I was going to convince her, if anyone else has done it, so can you. Because that was instilled in my head.
By people like your daddy?
My daddy died when I was 5, but he
pushed it on your older siblings.
Older siblings.
And by the way, you're the youngest of how many?
My parents raised 13 kids.
Wow.
A real true story about my mother and father. They had 10 biological kids, 8 girls and 8 girls and 5 boys. Let me tell you, 8 of us out of 10 biological kids, 8 of us were valedictorians. 2 salutatory. My father died when I was 5, and there were stair steps. And my mother never married. We never got a dime from a welfare or anything else. 100% of us went to college. Most of us, except about 2, are graduate students.
And you drive a red Corvette.
I drive 3 cars.
Go ahead, Dr. Lee. And did we, your late husband, O'Donnell Levy, please put a word in about him. We only got a second. Was he great all over the world?
In 2001, he won the world's international entertainer, the world's greatest entertainer. And when I was getting all of these awards, like he would get a whole house full, I would get a whole house full.
So y'all got a warehouse somewhere.
If we could open up our own museum from awards.
Well, there you go. We're going to take a pause. We're going to come back and get their final thoughts. You're watching the Doni Glover Show. Stay tuned.
We are creators. We are inventors. We are the power that moves the universe. We dance. We sing. We move to the rhythm of life. Fly, and go fly. We are Cashland.
I'd like to welcome you back to the Doni Glover Show. We're going to get the final thoughts. Dr. Levy.
Yeah, my final thought is...
It's been fun messing with you. I've never seen you smile
Donna,
so much.
Donna, you know, I'm just sitting up here praying for you the whole time. But the thing, I always do. I pray for my people. But anyway, my book is called, again, Successfully Promotion by Dr. Estella Ingram-Levy. You can find me on Facebook at Dr. Stella, and that's Drstella, Levy, Levy, or you can email me at eingram517@aol.com. That's Ingram at AOL.com, 517AOL.com. Donna said, I don't know my own email address. I guess I don't.
Do you still, this is what we want to know. Do you still have those pencil skirts? Because I've, you know.
Got a one today?
Oh, heavens to Betsy. You should see it. She's sharp as a tack. And you do a radio show too?
I do a radio show, and I'm thinking of some other endeavors that I'm going to do. As a matter of fact, I taught school, but I'm a medical scientist. And so there were only a few black women in the 70s who had degrees in pure science. I was one.
Okay, we got to slow you down. She's a takeover artist. Mike Posco, thank you for coming out.
Absolutely.
Heart of gold. Thank you for helping people. Thank you for giving a damn.
Oh, it's a pleasure to do my job every day. So I guess the last thing I would want to make sure everybody understands is Habitat for Humanity builds decent, affordable housing, and if you're between 30 and 80% of the area median income, you should look at habitatchesapeake.org. We also run a workforce program, so if you're interested in learning a trade in the construction industry, go to the website habitatchesapeake.org.
I'm proud of you both. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I think Baltimore is better because of you.
Thanks
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Yeah. Thank you for watching the Doni Glover Show. Stay tuned.
For the best discounts on quality furniture, appliances, building materials, and more, shop Habitat for Humanity of the Chesapeake's Restore. From the living room to the bedroom, the family room to the kitchen, our 6 Restore locations have a wide variety of household items priced at a fraction of the retail value. When you shop Restore, 100% of our proceeds support Habitat for Humanity's home ownership programs throughout Central Maryland. Call today for free pickup of your unwanted items or visit ChesapeakeRestore.org.
Welcome back to the Doni Glover Show. About 7 years ago, this year will make 8, we started giving away these Joe Mann's Black Wall Street Awards. And before my esteemed guests go, I just want to make sure that we acknowledge that they are 2 of the recipients. Why do we give them away? One, it was a marketing effort, and it is a marketing effort. We do the awards in New York, in Maryland, in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and New Orleans. We celebrate black entrepreneurs and professionals, as well as the people who support them, regardless of race. And being a pro-business person, it's important to me to encourage others. When I was a youngster going into business about 16 years ago, my dad said to me, if you get out there and try, somebody might see you, but you'll never know. They might see you and help you, but you'll never know if you never try. And so since 2011, we've given away well over 1,200 of these Joe Mann's Awards, and including to Dr. Levy and also to Mike Posco. We've touched every race, and we want to continue to do it. And with your support, the support of our sponsors, we're able to do these awards, and we want to go even to the West Coast in this 2019. But we're very proud of it. It started off as a marketing effort, don't get me wrong, but there's so much more to it. And this is not to, it's certainly in memory of what happened in Tulsa on May 31st to June 1st, 1921. It was a race ride, but at the same time, this is to inspire entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, business is the backbone of any economy, and that's why we do these Black Wall Street Awards. So again, kudos to Dr. Levy and to Mike Posco.
Thank you.
I'm excited. It's the first edition of the Doni Glover Show. Special thank you to our guests, Mike Posco, and my former Dunbar teacher, Dr. Estella Ingram-Levy. Please pick up her book. Also, to our executive producer, Mr. Frank Johnson. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for this man, for this brother, for this friend.
That's co-executive.
Co-executive, okay. I call him super producer. Also, to Aaron Maben with the beautiful, beautiful artwork. You know, incredible. Do pick up a copy of Unapologetically Black. Do check us out at bmorenews.com and also on Facebook. Facebook.com/Doni, DONI.Glover. I'm truly grateful, and I'll leave you with these words of my dad. With a closed hand, nothing gets in, nothing gets out. With an open hand, there are endless possibilities. The moral to the story is help somebody. See you next time.
As around the sun, the earth knows she's revolving, and the rosebuds know to bloom in early May. Just as hate knows love's a cure, you can rest your mind assured that I'll be loving you